Okay, we've got an algebraic fractions equation to solve here, and the method that I would use is to first of all find a common denominator. So if you look at the bottom line of the fractions part, you can see that we've got a 2x minus 5 and an x plus 2. So obviously to find a common denominator we have to make sure both of those will divide into it. So part of our common denominator has to have 2x minus 5, and if we multiply that by x plus 2, that will work for a common denominator. The reason being that 2x minus 5 will divide into it and x plus 2 will divide into it. Once we've found our common denominator, you multiply the entire equation by that common denominator, and that will get rid of the fractions. So when we do that, we get 10 over 2x minus 5 being multiplied by the common denominator. Now this line is the lengthy line. That will take up quite a bit of space. So that's the first bit multiplied by the common denominator. The second bit then needs to be multiplied by the common denominator, so that's the 7 over x plus 2. And it has to be multiplied by 2x minus 5 upon x plus 2. And finally, the last bit, so that equals 3 multiplied by our common denominator. Run out of space here, upon x, oh dear, plus 2. Apologies for that. So we're going to tidy that up by doing our division. So you can see that the 2x minus 5 will divide into the 2x minus 5 here to leave you with 10 times x plus 2. The x plus 2 will divide into the x plus 2 here to leave you with 7 upon 2x minus 5, and then this all just needs multiplied out. So what we get is this. Division here and a division here. A division here with the x plus 2. So we get the following. 10 upon x plus 2 plus 7 upon 2x minus 5, and that is equal to, on the right, 3 upon 2x minus 5 upon x plus 2. So at this point all we have to do is multiply out. So we multiply this, and the best way to treat this is to leave the 3 on its own first, multiply out your brackets using FOIL, and then multiply the 3 at the end. So we get 10x plus 20 plus 14x minus 35, and that is equal to 3 upon, and this is where we're going to multiply out these brackets using FOIL. So 2x times x is 2x squared, and then we've got our outside terms, 2x times 2, and that gives us plus 4x. Then we've got our inside terms, so that's minus 5x, and finally we've got our last two terms, so that's minus 10. Just about squeeze that in, I hope. Minus 10. So then we just tidy things up, and that means simplifying here and also means multiplying out here. Probably the best thing to do would be to simplify and then multiply out in the next line. So simplifying here, we get 24x minus 15 is equal to, and we're going to simplify the bit in the brackets first, so 2x squared, and the simplifying bit that needs done are these two terms, so we've got 4x take away 5x, so that's minus x minus 10. We then multiply out our brackets and we're ready to finish. So we've got 24x minus 15 on the left we've got 6x squared minus 3x minus 30. And we're going to now bring everything over to the right because this is positive. So these two terms are going to come over to be with the rest of the terms and leave us with 0 on the left. So we've got 0 is equal to 6x squared minus 3x. And then as you can see, the 24 is going to come over and it will be minus 24x. We've got a minus 30 already on the right. And again, you can see the minus 15 is going to come over and become plus 15. So this leaves us with 0 is equal to 6x squared minus 27x minus 15. So I'm going to just take a new slide to finish this off. So ideally at this point, if you can use inspection, it's better. Now, I haven't tried this one before, so I am talking through it the way I would. I would be looking at this term first and saying to myself, okay, how can I achieve that? I can achieve that by either using a 6x and an x or a 3x and a 2x. So I don't know what the solution is, so I'm going to just try the first one, 6x and x. I then look at this term, and this term is 15, so this can be achieved by multiplying 5 by 3 or 15 by 1. So the 15 and the 1, if you put in a 15 here and a 1 here, you're going to end up with a huge number with this multiplying out. If you put a 15 in here and a 1 here, you've got 15 and 6. That's not going to give us 27. Our other option is 5 and 3. If you put a 5 in here and a 3 in here, the 5 times the 6 gives us a 30, and the 3, if we subtract that from 30, will give 27. So that is actually what's going to work. 5 in there and a 3 in there. Now we look at our sign. Our sign is negative, which means these two signs have to be different. And we know that that is going to have to be the case because that would have to be minus to give us our minus 30, add on 3x. That is our solution for our factorisation part. We were asked to solve the equation, so we do need to go on now and solve. So we've got 6x plus 3 equals 0, which means 6x must be minus 3, and therefore x would be minus a half. Or we've got x minus 5 equals 0, so x would be equal to positive 5. And there's our two solutions, and that would be your 6 marks.